I'm going to leave number 15 and 16 spreadsheet text by clicking this arrow on the green border, and we'll now look at spreadsheet formulas. We're going to open up that set of activities, and the first activity talks about probability and formulas. So in the 5th grade, you should be working with beginning math skills, with formulas beginning with an equal sign, combining cell references, and addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division symbols. You could certainly do this just with 3rd or 4th graders with adding and subtracting symbols. And in the 6th grade, after trimester 1, the students should be used to exponents. So you can raise a number to a power with the caret symbol, which is shift in the number 6. These are the skills that we have available in our 6th and 7th grade tech curriculum map, and some skills in the 5th grade. And the skill we're going to focus on here is predicting, testing, and recording the probability of an outcome of an event. It's important that students understand that formulas begin with an equal sign. If you are used to old spreadsheets, you might be in the habit of using the plus sign to begin a formula, but it's best to begin with an equal sign. Spaces are not typed in formulas, and as best as possible, you should avoid typing values in formulas. That would be equals 1 plus 2 to get a result of 3, because we want spreadsheets to be flexible. Once you type in the formula and press enter, it gets locked into the cell and you see the result of that formula. Students wonder where the formula went, and we'll take a look at that in a minute on the spreadsheet. Also, it's important to get the students to get used to typing the formulas first. When you believe the students are ready, you can begin talking about copying and pasting. And when you do that, you should really get the students familiar with the term relative, because by the time they get to 8th grade, they're going to need to know about absolute copying and pasting. So when you copy and paste, you're making a relative copy, and we'll talk about that some more. Also, this is a time that you can introduce sheets to students. We'll look at a tip of how to display formulas in Google Sheets. You can use the View All Formulas menu, and in Microsoft Excel you can hold down the Control key and tap the accent mark. That's the key with the tilde on the upper left side of your keyboard. Control accent will toggle between showing the results and the formulas. That can assist you in grading the students' work and making sure that they're building formulas the way they should. In this example, we used a die in order to fill in columns 1 and 2 at the workshop. So you can set up a set of worksheets, or again, they can work individually with Google Sheets or Microsoft Office Online. It's convenient to set up multiple sheets because then they can copy and paste the results of their work onto a probability tab. We have an extra sheet called Group 10, and I'm going to copy and paste the titles in there. So each pair of students would get one die, and when the die is rolled, one partner is rolling the die, the other person is typing in the results of those dice rolls until they roll the die 10 times in a row, filling up through row 11. And then they switch jobs. The next student rolls the die, the partner records the rolls. It's important to know that if you're in a shared spreadsheet, such as Google Sheet, the computer will get confused if multiple people are on the same sheet trying to work on formulas. So first, I would suggest that the students highlight their die rolls, edit copy, and go to a last sheet which is going to record everybody's rolls. This would be something that you could preset, and so we're just going to add it down here. So they're going to paste, edit paste, the die rolls from their group spreadsheet. Once they've copied those rolls in there, they can make their own copy of the spreadsheet so that they can build the formulas without causing anybody any problems. And the way that we can do that is by saying File, Make a Copy in Google Sheets, and then name it Dice and the student's first name. And that is going to be saved in a folder called Tech Integration Specialists. I'm now going to my sheet number 10, and we're going to build some formulas. To build a formula, you first click where the result's going to be, press the equal sign, and then you want to use the cell reference that contains the numbers. So for instance, if I wanted to add the number 6 and the number 2 in row 2, after I press the equal sign, I can click in cell A2. It's going to begin building the formula. This is the addition column, so I'm going to press plus and click in B2 and then press enter to lock it in and get the answer. When I press enter to lock it in, 6 plus 2 equals 8. That's the value that's shown on the spreadsheet. When I click in the cell and look at the formula bar, we see that we typed in equals A2 plus B2. If I give that a double click, you see it's color coded. A2 is right here and B2 is right here. To subtract, I could do the same process, pressing equal, click, minus, which is the dash, click, press enter to lock it in. Or I could type the cell by hand, equals A2, shift in the number 8, asterisk for multiplication, B2, equals A2, slash, the one on the question mark, B2, press enter to lock it in. And if I want to raise to a power, if the students are of the proper age, equals A2, shift in the number 6 for a caret, B2. So that means 6 multiplied as it's a factor 2 times. So 6 times 6 is 36. If you or a student have been doing this for a long time, you can press Control C to copy that, highlight the empty cells, Control V makes a relative copy. Relative means that A2 and B2, in row 2, I copy it down 1 row, and so it changes the formula relative to where the first formula was. So A2 plus B2 in row 3 becomes A3 plus B3, A4 plus B4, and so on. If students are not aware of negative numbers, you can just let the students know that you're going to see a -2 because it is a negative number, and they'll learn about that in a later grade. Also, when they divide, they're going to get some decimal numbers, so if it was appropriate, you might want to teach them how to change the number of decimal points. Finally, once all is done and everybody's completed their work, and this could take 2 or 3 class periods if you see students 40 minutes a week, you'll want to highlight all those roles. And again, we did this at the workshop, so they're in order, but I have my extras down here. And you can do it as a teacher demonstration, or you can do it as a project each student does on their own. Once you highlight the data, you can choose Data, Sort Range, and Sort. And in this way, you're going to be able to see the more roles you have, the closer it is to finding that you get an equal number of 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s each time you roll the die. And we can do an equal count, which we didn't do in the workshop. Highlight all those 1s. So we ended up with 35 1s, 28 2s, 33s. And so the more that you roll the die, the closer to getting the same number of rolls each time. So by having students work in groups and each do 10 rolls, you're going to get a fair amount of data pretty quickly. And again, if you're looking for a way to integrate spreadsheets into the math classroom, this is a great way to get at that 5th grade standard, which is to experiment with probability. And so 35 6s, 23 5s, 29 4s, 33s, 28 2s, and 35 1s. The more rolls you have, the closer it's going to be that those numbers will come up in even amounts.